right, so good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is June 28th, 2022. So, welcome to our close to month end. And as we approach the end of this week, we'll be ending our quarter and our half year for the S&Ps. So yesterday, fairly non-eventful in the overall market view. We had a bit of a consolidative day after Friday's rally. Some shorter-term time frame uptrends still remain. We'll be looking at things like the 4-hour is probably indicative of where the market sits. And as we are starting with a slight gap up open, at least at this time, the 4-hour uptrend remains a really good guide for whether or not we're going to see continuation over the next couple days. As we start to just rally or just rise from these lower bound points, the bulls are essentially trying to keep short-term momentum in their favor. One thing we haven't really done is start our daily consolidation in regards to daily higher lows being established. The S&P so far has either been making higher highs and higher lows, or there's going to be these moments of pullback, but on shorter term time frame. So really the daily trend has not yet changed. We're just still within a daily bounce that started last week. So waiting for that higher low to maybe come and back test some potential areas of previous resistance. Ideally coming back to what was the FOMC high in some form of a breakout back test, which obviously carried a lot of strength on Friday. So some notes about yesterday's trade, and this could probably be easily described through the trading terminal sector performance. Yesterday, from this performance overview, was not necessarily the best performing day for the S&Ps due to the type of sector strength that we had. As you recall, there's typically a lot of back and forth style trade where you have strong market cap sectors, financials, healthcare, and even technology leading on certain days. And those days are typically when energy are either flat or down on the session. Yesterday was the opposite. We saw a little bit of relative strength in the morning, but energy certainly picked up midday and ended up closing well within the green from a just an intraday performance. That said, looking back, energy is still our laggard for the past week. We're actually looking to see if energy has formed a short-term bottom as there is a daily bounce underway, and also some potential upside targets given it is in an oversold condition from relative highs. But the main story continues to be what sectors are leading as of late. We continue to see healthcare as a big market cap sector performing for the S&P. It's one of our lead bulls as of the past couple of sessions. And it's not necessarily just S&P healthcare, which can be kind of quantified through XLV. You'll also see a lot of relative performance in something like a biotech ETF, XBI, or IBT, I believe is that's the wrong symbol. I forget this other symbol. There's a couple of biotech ETFs, but what we're seeing is more or less a little bit of a move back into some higher growth names. XBI certainly has a risk-on characteristic to it, as a lot of these companies either are unproven or just have a risk profile relative to the type of business that they are within. Keep in mind, though, short term it is strong. Obviously, big picture, we're looking at a major macro downtrend in regards to a weekly and a monthly downtrend that is pulling back. So a lot of these moves you don't necessarily want to chase. What you do want to observe, though, is when they're performing, what is the rest of the market doing? And obviously looking to position at certain points in time to sort of capitalize on that uptrend. XBI has a very clear lower bound support here that it's responding to with a double bottom. So looking for maybe these sectors to start giving better entry points to possibly change longer term trends. And obviously location is important as well. Why the bounce here has more potential than other locations where the chart also responded bullish. So as always, just keeping an eye on these, looking for entry points, still waiting to see if we top out on something like a healthcare and then pull back into our range support. That was weird. Just making sure I'm still good on YouTube. I had an ad come through. I thought I lost the video stream. Okay, so and then just to round out energy, showcasing the daily bounce that's underway. When I do indicate a daily bounce, what I want to be clear about is what comprises a daily bounce. What does it take to actually initiate that statement? There's basically two ways it can happen. Usually, you're going to see a downtrend of some formation, usually shorter term. So let's say a 4-hour here. And for the most part, you either need to have an inside day after an extreme sell style candle that usually marks a relative low, or you'll have something where the chart forms a low, establishes a little bit of a shorter term trading range, and then gets over the high of that candle. So for daily bounces, really what you're looking for is for the chart to pivot around closes of previous daily candles. And in this case, you'll notice that outside of these two sessions here, where we do have bullish behavior, we never really were able to clear a relative high. So this candle is technically inside, but we never were able to close above our inside candle nor break the high. And that, of course, continued our selling into our true support. This right here can somewhat be called a little bit of a short-term bull trap, as we get bullish style behavior, but it never really confirms anything of significance. This instead, with a stronger close above an inside candle, and then here, while the close is pretty much in line with the open, and while we haven't necessarily breached that high, the daily bounce is starting to pivot and become structurally established. Usually I like to bring up this short-term study that was developed. It showcases when you have potential pivoting candles. Usually these black candles indicate that the close is higher than the previous day close. And then, of course, if you're able to confirm, you're usually looking for a 3-candle pattern where you have one direction, a stall, or an inside style candle, and then a confirmation of a higher close the next day. So no matter how you look at this, what we're seeing is potential for energy to bounce over the next couple of days. We do have our assets in good bullish location, at least in the short term. Crude continues to respond off of a relative trend line. It's a very simple kind of tool that we've been using to say when to think of crude a bit more bullish, or maybe responding with some relative strength. And then, of course, natural gas, which this one was actually searching for a low. We had a couple of areas of interest that were marked, but overall, this has been struggling to find some support. As you can see over the past 2 days, we've had a very short-term bullish reaction. Once again, a little bit of a bounce structure here. And obviously, as long as they continue to make higher highs, the daily bounce will remain underway close to this 6 print. So our asset classes for energy are performing. We'll also look at gasoline, which has been obviously affecting us as consumers. This also suffered a pullback, but big picture, this is probably the most structurally intact in regards to its uptrend. Haven't really lost the structure of higher highs and higher lows quite yet. A lot of these higher lows were established here on the 20, and the pullback here is on the 50. So for now, gasoline structure-wise remains bullish. The rest of the assets are more or less just responding to areas of bullish intent. Okay, so a couple of areas for a watch today. Pull up our list here. We're going to look at volatility really quickly, and then I'm going to bring up a couple of trade ideas we've been discussing. So one of the things that kind of keeps me on the side of the bulls this week, especially with that more aggressive 4,000 or 400 target in the SPY, is the structure of our volatility futures remains fairly impactful for when to be a bull, when to be a bear, and obviously in between, just waiting to see if there's some short-term chop or reactionary effect that's outside of the norm. One thing you'll notice here, the rejection of our vol futures remains in line with a resistance that's been established back in September. Certainly, we've had some upside breaches is when the market gets a little bit extreme. You'll notice when this is occurring around the Feb and March bottoms that occurred in the S&P. But overall, when the VIX futures spike to these levels, I'm usually inclined to look in the opposite direction, mostly because it does struggle to get over. And these breaches here take a bit of proving, which of course the vol futures did not do on the pullback. So for now, what I'm, kind of claiming as far as a little bit of bias is as the vol futures are fading, the S&P has a natural inclination to be a little bit of a net bullish trade. That isn't necessarily always the case. It's not that vol futures is an inverse of the S&P, but if you ever overlap something like SPX over this particular chart, we can do a compare with, if I can get it to hold, and we can just put the SPX here. We'll take off our moving averages. And then maybe just kind of zooming in here a little bit, you'll notice that the structure of the market tends to wave very similar in regards to upside in vol leads to potential downside or stronger downside moves in the S&P. And then downside in vol can lead to more or less a grind or just a natural upside kind of move in the S&P. So I do recommend you kind of check this out. It's not necessarily a trigger for any style of trade, but when you're doing analysis like this, where you're trying to decide whether to get back into a market from a directional bias, sometimes you want a few things to align before you pull the trigger. I do believe that vol is a good way for us to stay at the very least on the side of the bulls for now. One thing we'd at least want to see is vol to stop its fade trade and maybe come into something like this trend line support. And this is typically when we're getting stronger bullish reactions in vol futures and therefore stronger bearish reactions in the S&P. You'll want to kind of note the most important dates for these lows. January 13th, something akin to April 20th or 21st, and then more recently, the larger sell-off that occurred on June 9th. So when you pull up those dates in the SPY, take off this overlap study here, you'll notice some of those dates are of high impact. The January time frame, the April time frame, where we started a larger sell against the channel breakout, the one that structurally could have led to another bullish move, but obviously collapsed. And then, of course, June 9th, which is our break of our consolidative range. So it's not to say that this is the end-all be-all, getting short, getting long the market. It's really only offered a couple of opportunities this year. But if you're looking for bigger wave structures, bigger signals of the market, I think vol future is a good way to kind of stay on the right side of the trade until the setup truly forms in the favor of a bull or a bear. And secondly, I guess we'll stay on the S&P here. I talked about the quarterly option series yesterday. I wanted to go over a little bit more of that for those not available in the room for chat. And also talk about the idea behind this trade. So as we go into our quarterly series, you'll notice that a lot of open interest is located in this particular option series. You have things like very heavy open interest around 380. And this, of course, aligns with our S&P expected move. If we do see some bearish behavior this week, 380 would be an ideal target due to the size of this, this open interest. But big picture, there has been a lot of bias and trade this week towards the 400 print. Actually surprises me to see how light the open interest is this morning. But there has been a lot of volume trade placed around this price level. This might be better seen in something like the SPX. So let's shift over really quickly. We'll go to that 4,000 print. Actually, still quite light. So I guess for now, the signal isn't quite as strong as maybe I envisioned here, but we do see a 4,000 area of the market with a higher open interest in, at the very least, the S&P index. If you're looking bearish, obviously that 380 was standing out in the SPY. So that would be something to maybe target and obviously place trade around if you're looking to kind of fade this rally from last week. But if you're still looking bullish and maybe the market is giving other signals to consider more upside, I personally like the idea of butterflies for targeted trades or something akin to a ratio style spread. For these types of trades, what you're looking to do is often sell the target of your particular ratio. So in this case, if 4,000 were your target, we can use the S&P futures here. You'd be looking to sell some of this call premium at around 4,000, simply because it is a bit elevated. The more people trade around it, the higher the implied volatility tends to be. And additionally, you're not really expecting the market to go much higher than this by the end of the week or the end of the quarter in this case. For the SPX, we do have this gap structure. So one thing that can kind of prevent the move from going much further, especially in the next couple days, would be the completion of the gap fill, but not necessarily being able to go much higher. So for those types of trades, you can center around 4,000, which is about mid gap, and then you can sell against the gap fill type levels. So for example, if I were doing this in the S&P futures, I'd probably want to close up the naked call or the open credit call with something like selling a 40-20, which would be around the gap fill area. Now, what I have here is structurally just a credit call vertical along with an open credit call at 4,000. In order to kind of close this up and potentially have a little bit more of a bullish lean, you can either make this I guess like a symmetric butterfly. And for this is about a 20-point wide. So it's a bit aggressive for this one, but you can do something like sold this one. I have to turn that around. Yeah. You can do something like buy a 39.80. That makes it a $20 or 20-point wide butterfly centered around that 4,000. And the idea is pretty simple. You know, you're paying a debit. This is structurally a delta positive style trade, but it does have a target in mind. It does have an area of interest for the premium of the trade to expand. Give me a second here. Okay. So when we look at this from the risk to reward profile perspective, what I'm essentially doing is I'm buying something that has the structure of a call vertical with debit, a call vertical with credit. It is centered around 4,000. And if the S&P were to close exactly at 4,000 on Thursday, obviously that is a very psychological target for the market to close around, but sometimes it does occur. This $1.25 butterfly would expand quite heavily and turn into something worth approximately $2,000. You know, it's a 20 point wide, so that would certainly go into about a $2,000 total trade. Now, obviously, you can make profit in between, and the wider this butterfly is, the more potential for profitable exits becomes available. But you can see the aggressiveness of this butterfly makes it to where as the market gets closer to 4,000, yeah, obviously it's an if, but if the market gets closer to 4,000, as we maybe update our date here to that last day, this purple line will start to expand, with it being very reactionary on the day of closure. So that Thursday is actually the day where this spread will change dramatically. And ideally, you'll be able to close this with something like a 2 to 3R win versus the payment price. Now, obviously, aggressive butterfly, harder to hit your profit. You can expand this out as far as needed, but you can also kind of mess with the structure of the trade. What I'm showcasing here is not necessarily going after a trade like this with the butterfly, but the logic behind it. And what you want to understand is if you're going for that particular price, you may also want to be more aggressive depending on the structure of the market. So for example, let's say I go ahead and sell 3 of these 4,000 calls. I close up the additional sold credit with an additional 40-20 call. So I've changed this to a 1-3-2. And in this case, because I have more sold credit here, you'll notice that right now this is a credit spread. I can actually bring this down another 20 points approximately. And what you'll notice here is it does cost me a bit more for this trade. I'll delete the old butterfly here that we already looked at. But now what you'll notice is you're starting to widen out your profit zone. And this is something where the market doesn't necessarily have to rally completely into 4,000. You pay a little bit more, but you do have that same style of potential. With this one, you know, the maximum here would actually be closer to about 3,500, you know, total, with the paid debit, of course, coming into the trade. So your max profit total would be about 3,360. So these are trade styles and obviously option spreads that still keep your margin intact. You know, you're not selling anything with a large margin requirement, Everything is kind of risk defined in regards to what you pay for the spread. And obviously, you can break one side of these legs in order to add additional margin, but keep the cost of the trade in line with what you're willing to risk. Um, you'll also notice that I'm keeping things symmetric here. And this is another important note that I'll kind of round out with. Um, how did I know that going another 20 points down on the 39.80 call would keep this, this still structurally is a butterfly style spread. How did I know that it would keep both sides of the trade capped at the risk of the debit? Conceptually, this is how the option market prices options. Because I am selling an additional leg of a 20-point wide call vertical, I was able to bring my out of the money premium a little closer in and yet keep this risk profile equivalent on both sides. If the market doesn't go up, I'll still risk 385. If the market goes well past this particular price, I will lose 380. If I change this value, this becomes more skewed. Actually, I think we lost the YouTube stream here. Okay, looks like it's back for now. If I change this value here, the risk to reward becomes skewed on different sides of the trade. For example, I can pay a bit more for a closer call um, call contract on the long side of the trade, but obviously my risk then becomes the debit that I'm paying for that side of the trade. And yet, if I look past and look at if the market goes beyond 40.20, I will instead be risking about half of that debit, about 310. And that's simply because the difference in premium between what is bullish and what is, I won't say bearish, but sold credit structurally starts to change and be repriced in the spread depending on how wide you go. There's some logic behind this. I'd like to go into that maybe into a separate section. But what I'm highlighting here is that once you get familiar with option contracts, you're starting to view your spreads in a different way. It's not about what strategy, it's about what am I selling, what am I buying, and is my risk equivalent or not on either side of the potential profit zone? Am I looking at symmetric risk to reward, or am I looking at skewed risk to reward depending on my conviction? And once again, I'm highlighting this because if you do believe the market is able to enter this gap within the next couple of days, you can skew that risk to reward, especially once we fill the gap, obviously taking more risk above the gap fill, but still targeting an area of the gap entry, basically the area of the market with low liquidity or low market transactional value. So anyway, with all that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. I wanted to showcase that particular style of trade. This can be applied in multiple areas, but the logic behind why and what sort of strikes you're choosing, I think from a technical sense makes a lot of sense this week, along with the idea simply being that you're slightly net bullish, at least until the market changes its bias on the short-term trends. So with all that said, stay tuned for pre-market prep, and we'll talk a bit more about this tomorrow.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. And welcome, guys, to PreMarket Prep. Hope you are doing well. Good morning, Norm. Not sure if you're there.
Good morning, buddy. Can you hear
There
me?
you are. Yes, see you loud and clear, my friend.
My camera was working just a moment ago, but hang on. Give
Yeah,
me a
no
second.
worries, man. No worries. Good to have you back. While Norm figures that out, guys, let's take a quick look at some of the stuff we had yesterday on our list here. So let's start here with, and by the way, it was not an easy start. Let's start here with Neo. Neo, let's go to yesterday's action. There we go. Neo, great pre-market activity, guys, as we know. And we love seeing the price action and volume get on Neo. This is why this is one of those stocks that we constantly keep on the list. And yesterday, look how it got better after a couple of minutes, right? You had to wait a little bit. A lot of indecision happening here. But then right after that, look at the beautiful drop you got here towards the bottom there. So again, Neo trading, very, very nice. And the volume and how this thing traded was actually very, very clean. So hopefully you took advantage of that. This morning already, we're seeing some good volume. It is up again, although sold off yesterday. Today we're up 1.1 on Neo. So looking forward to that one this morning as well. Here's AMD again. It was not an easy start, guys. A lot of rough stuff in the morning, especially. And as you can see here, Neo was an I'm sorry, AMD was an example of that. Just some of the pops and then drops, and it's just look at the wicks. Every candle overlapping the previous candle. It's just not a clear sense in direction on AMD there. Here was Apple. Apple, I mean, again, very similar to AMD, just a lot of sideways action. You can see here every candle overlapping the previous one. Again, just a lot of sense of in direction yesterday. And we saw that through many of the stocks that we were watching, right? So here's Baba, again, another one that's been good to us. But again, yesterday, if you're scalping and you can get a really good entry, you're able to take advantage of it. Other than that, it could have been very difficult to find a trade. So again, it was not an easy day at all, guys. And you saw from Brian and Thor trading yesterday how long they waited to find opportunities. There were some, but they were not definitely as clean as we have seen in the past. I don't recall having UPST here. I don't know why this came up here. I do not recall having UPST or ROST. Not sure why these are here, but they're showing up here, but they shouldn't be. I don't have no idea why that's there. All right. Excellent, guys. That was the list yesterday. Let's take a look at some of the stuff happening now. But first, good morning, Norm. How you doing, my friend? How was your vacation?
Good. It was fantastic, man. I need a break to get over and rest from it because my kid had me
Yes.
running around, whether it was sailing or snorkeling or swimming or everything in the world, fishing. I mean, Lord, but it was fun. It was awesome. Good morning, guys. Thanks for all the welcome backs and everything else. It
Excellent,
was a
man. That
great
is
time.
that is
Happy to be back, though.
that is great to hear, and it's so good to get some time off, man. So that is real nice. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to get my trade ideas connected here. So give me 1 second. I am trying something. What I'm going to do is let me switch over. Actually, let's go to the market pulse while we do this, and I'm
Yeah.
going to try to get that going here.
I mean, hey, you guys were here for it, not me. I did everything I could to avoid looking at the markets last week. One of my buddies texted me. I can't even remember what ticker it was. And I'm like, dude, I just sent him a picture of where I was sitting. And he's like, oh, sorry, never mind. Anyway, so
Nice.
um, yeah, right now we've got the Richmond Fed president speaking. He started at 8 o'clock, which coincides with this meltdown that we've had because we had a decent gap up, and that's coming back down to previous day close. On the daily, excuse me, on the weekly last week, we had a pretty strong week, but we're 2 days into this one, and we'll see if it can hold. Trading goods at 8:30 that just came out, and then got the Case Shiller Home Price Index at 9, consumer confidence at 10. We'll see what happens there. And then at 12:30, the San Francisco Fed president speaking. Then later on in the week, we've got some GDP revisions for Q1 coming in and such. Some Fed speakers. We've got some inflation data, spending data, all that stuff coming out on Thursday. Yeah, and then some manufacturing data coming out on Friday. So, of course, we're closed Monday for July 4th. Yeah, so should be interesting data for the rest of the week. I will note while we're not really in earnings season right now. We do have a couple this week. On Wednesday morning, we've got BBBY, not to be confused with BBY. So we've got Bed Bath and Beyond, which usually trades pretty well when it has earnings. So that's before the open tomorrow morning. And then on Thursday, I know who will, they'll be doing their mentorship. I know who will be doing this. And well, great. My I don't know what's going on with my camera. I am not stoned this morning, although it froze on me looking like I am. So I apologize. But we've got Micron after the bell on Thursday. So that coincides with they scheduled that to coincide with Ed's mentorship session in the main room, and he'll be trading at 4 p.m. on that. So. Yeah. You there, Carlos?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so yeah, something's wrong with the login and trade ID. It's still not working, so we'll have to figure that out. But I won't waste enough time. I can do this off your list, so we'll just go to that. I know the scanners are in the room, so I'm gonna go straight to that. So
I can read them out to you too, brother.
Yeah, let's do that. And
Okay.
then we'll go ahead and get this going.
Start off with TCOM, TCOM, Trip.com, Chinese Talk. They had, this is travel sector in China. Obviously, they've been hit pretty hard with things going on over the last couple of months with COVID lockdowns. They had earnings last night, and they've got the reopening story in China going on. So they're getting popped this morning, 14.3%. I'm surprised by the light volume. This isn't my favorite ticker to trade, but
yeah,
volume's a little light for the news, surprisingly.
Yeah, it is. Nice gap of 14%. I mean, it's still, I think, interesting enough to put as a possible. I mean, that is a big gap up today for them, but the volume, you're absolutely right. It's just, we need to see a lot more.
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, I'm seeing volume come through each minute in the tune of like 5 to 6,000, 3,000, 1,700. That's got to pick up for it to be viable. Next one we've got is HTHT.
HTHT.
This is another Chinese company, hotel/lodging. Don't see any fresh news on it this morning, but I think it's that same trade.
Yeah, this doesn't look good at all, by the way. I needed no volume today.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
Yeah. Actually,
LVS, Las Vegas Sands.
Mm-hmm.
Likely on sympathy to these because they've got some Macau business that should be affected by that. So same deal there. If somebody sees something else, also lackluster in the volume department. I'll say that much at 129,000 and very sporadic volume this morning. Not looking fantastic. So far, we're striking out.
Yeah, we sure are, my friend. Yeah, so this was no good. And again, guys, can it get better later? Yes, but right now, we'll find something better.
PLTK. This is
PLTK.
an Israeli company. Talking about it. This is casino, video games, and I believe online stuff. But there's news of a private investment in it, so I'm not sure if that'll do. I don't know if that'll do squat. Once again, same story. Chart not looking fantastic. Volume's not bad at 410, but these Israeli ones usually don't trade very well. 13-cent spread at the moment on a $15 stock is a little big. So I'm curious how that'll move, but we'll see.
Yep.
Next, we've got VG Vonage. This looks terrible, and it usually trades terribly intraday. This is on news of a potential takeover or delay on a takeover bid. Not liking that very much.
Someone mentioned actually, Mike, thanks for pointing it out. I actually looked at HTH, which looked bad, but looking at HTHT, that also looks worse too. So yeah, so thank you for pointing that out. I was looking at the wrong ticker when you called it out, but
yeah, sorry,
neither one looks
good. I looked at a different feed because YouTube's delayed by a few seconds, so I've got to watch our direct feed, and I didn't see what you had pulled up at the moment. I apologize. No, HTHT is not any better, really.
Yeah, no.
So it doesn't matter what you pulled up. You might as well have a blank chart.
Exactly.
All right, now we're going to get to some oil and natural gas stuff. Oxys are first. This one is up this morning. Warren Buffett in Berkshire took a position in this, a sizable position a while back. They have, there's news this morning of an increase in their position. Now they own 16.4% of it. So whenever Mr. Buffett starts going into something, it usually pumps them up. Oil and natural gas are up a little bit this morning, but I think most of the others here are sympathy plays on that as well. Unless somebody sees something specific on these others, throw it out there. There was some moves on these yesterday as well.
Yeah. I'll keep Oxy because it's usually a pretty good one, and it tends to move up. And actually, this morning's pre-market action looks pretty good compared to how they normally look in the morning. This is not bad, and their day looking good too. So
DVN might be good too. The pre-market's not great. It is, DVN. It's not great pre-market, but being a NYSE ticker, it's fairly usual.
Yeah, so remember, Oxy's also a NYSE ticker, so they don't get great pre-market action too.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that will get better at the bell, especially they're in play today.
Next, we've got Save. Well, we skipped MRO, same boat there. That's Marathon Petroleum.
Yeah.
Save is up next. Save is. This one's been in the news a lot recently. Spirit Airlines.
Yeah.
Not the greatest trader. Takeover war going on here involving them, JetBlue, Frontier. Some increased bidding and such, giving them a little pop this morning. I have not seen this trade well recently. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, we've seen it. I've been watching this one, and again, it's just been news all over the place, but it hasn't been trading well, and the volume has been so light. So you're right there, man. It's a lot of back and forth with JetBlue and Frontier making offers. Nothing seems to stick, and it's just trading horrible. So, yeah, no interest in that one.
All right. So let's see here. BP, another one. If I was going to choose an oil ticker, I'd probably choose one of the others we've already discussed. Got a new one that just popped up here. It's MPLX. That's another one. Probably not great. FCX. FCX. Foxtrot, Charlie, X-ray.
We've seen this in our list before.
Oh yeah.
And it hasn't
Freeport McMoran comes up actually quite often. I did hear some news on them this morning, but I cannot recall what it was. It's not doing a whole lot at the moment. Sorry, and guys, yes, the gappers on Carlos, he's having an issue. We're trying to get it fixed. So as soon as we get that worked out, it'll be taken care of. So, let me see if I can see something here.
Oh wait, hold on. I think that
what's that?
We might have a password here. I think just the capital letter might be throwing us off. So let me check one thing here, guys. 1 second. Just want to see.
We'll see if we can fix that.
We will fix that so you guys can watch. I'm just moving that over so I don't share the password information, but looks like we might be able to get this right. Okay, let's see if this works here. I have someone that's helping me out with this at the moment, and trying to do it on the fly is not an easy thing. Let's see if we do this. Nope, that didn't work neither. All right, so yeah, that didn't work. Apologies, guys. We'll get it fixed. There's something wrong with the password it's working on another computer, but it's not working on this one. So it's just strange. We're trying to figure out if what's going on with that. So we'll get that fixed. All right, so we left off at FCX.
Yeah, FCX, SLB, Schlumberger. SLB, Sierra Lima Bravo. Another one.
Don't like that one. Yeah, no good on this one.
FU to you is next.
FU to you, my friend, and welcome back. 2.3 this morning, and it's the only Chinese ticker that we've seen so far that I can recall, right? So
no, we had a ton of them earlier.
Oh, we did? Okay. I haven't seen anything great on this one. So not really
Yeah, I'm
liking
not
it right
seeing
now.
great either.
Yeah.
And XOM, as somebody already mentioned, another oil ticker. It's got good volume this morning. So
Yeah, Ryan on YouTube was throwing that out as well.
I
I knew he
will
was gonna
say,
get to
although it
yeah.
has good volume, it looks
Mhm.
like that might have been a block trade at some point because it's sporadic, and on the 1 minute volume, I'm seeing light volume.
Yeah, yeah. Like if
The
you
biggest 1
compare
minute
this,
candle I see this morning on volume is 19,000 shares. So
yeah.
there has to have been a block trade in here at some point.
Yeah, and if you look at Oxy, right, which is getting less volume by almost half, you can see how much better this is trading pre-market
Yeah.
wise, right? So you got a candle here that's 70,000, a couple of around 5,000 or so. So yeah, Oxy's definitely trading much better this morning. You can still look at XOM, guys. I think that's gonna get going, but for the most part, for me, Oxy's a much better trader. All right, well we have that's gap up,
That's the up
gapping down.
lips. Let's go to the down list. We've got Hood, which I guess Hood was in play when I was out.
Yeah.
There was
Mhm.
rumor of a buyout from FTX, not to be confused with FCX.
Correct.
But they came out and said they're not doing that. So they're dropping 4.3% on that. Could be. This 1 minute chart looks pretty nasty, and I'm not a huge fan of this one, but I haven't seen a whole lot that looks great this morning.
No, I agree. And even the
Did you guys have good trading while I was gone?
No, there's been some
it's
moves,
summer.
but you could tell it's not the way when you left, man. When you left, things were just cranking. It has slowed down quite a bit. We're seeing a little bit of chop, especially with the market going sideways now. So it hasn't been great. You just have to wait. You have to really be more patient now, and let things settle down, right? So yeah, we'll have to see how things go here.
You got your fake Google next. Oh no, it moved. Nike, NKE.
Nike.
Yeah,
Nike
they had earnings last night. They beat.
right? Yeah.
They beat, but their guidance was pretty troubling, and one of their most profitable markets, China, is having issues as well. So
yeah, down 3% this morning. This could be interesting today. Definitely going to add them to the list here. And their daily is also interesting. I mean, they don't trade very well often, but today could be a good one with
I agree.
with
It's
the
not my
earnings, so,
favorite either.
yeah.
And then we've got the fake Google, Geo. Bermuda shipping company, trash run.
Yeah, it's nothing.
So let's take them from the room. I'm too rusty. I've been out I haven't even looked at a screen in 10 or 11 days. So you guys, find out what it is. And
yeah, absolutely, my friend. All right, guys, let's take it to the chat room. Let's see what we got going on. I'm looking at both YouTube and our chat. What do you guys like this morning? Natharion, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct. You're giving us EVFM. This is not EVFM. Let's take a look here. Not really something I like. More of a penny stock. Really a penny stock. It's just coming out of $1 now. So again, just overall, the price action, the way this moves, just doesn't fall into my criteria. This is definitely in play, right? Don't get me wrong. 48 million shares traded, up 23%. Something is happening on this bioscience company, biotech, whatever this is, that's making it move. But it's just, to me, I don't even care what the catalyst is or anything, because it's just, I'm not going to watch it. This is not something that's in my trade book, so I'm not able to trade this today. But definitely play if you like this style. Definitely keep an eye on that one. I got it right. Okay, thank you. Excellent. Here's Lee from Lewis and Andrew in Texas. We have an Andrew in Texas. Nice. Here is Lee, and they are up 1.6, 951,000. They've been getting great volume lately in the pre-market. Yesterday, it didn't trade so well. It's not so hot. But again, a lot of stocks just going sideways, trying to figure out, what is the next move here as the market tries to bounce off the lows, right? We'll put Lee as a possible for now. The volume is there. We're up 1.7. Maybe today we can head back to that 42, 41.60. That'll be nice if we could do that today on Lee this morning. Heath, you're giving us KZR. Let's take a look at KZR. What is this? KZR Life Sciences. So right now we're up at 91%. Wow. What's the float on this thing, guys? I don't even have my float. I'm so used to looking at trade ideas.
And FinViz.
Yeah. Wow. What's the news? I mean, this is a huge pop for them too.
Lupus treatment. Top line results in a phase 2 trial released last night.
Okay. All right, so they're getting some very nice pop here. I mean, this stuff is in play for sure. It is not a low flow, but I'm going to put it as a low flow anyway because you have to be very careful managing your risk on this one. And it will be interesting today how how it goes here. So you got a nice pop, 92%. Are we going to hold this? Are we going to slam back down? We'll see. KZR definitely in play, guys. Putting
Check
it
out
on my
Neo, brother.
riskier pile. Neo has been what's going on with Neo? Going from red to green just now.
Green to red, but yes.
Green to red, yes. Trading terminal, what's happening there? What's going on with Neo? Do we know?
You're pulling up the terminal?
Yep, I'm putting it up right now. See what news we have on our friend Neo here. Let's take a look.
I have clock turned off right now.
Yep.
I don't see anything in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, nothing has come out yet. I don't see anything at the moment. We'll see. Something will happen here. Probably just happening right now. So we just got to give it a little bit. But yeah, but this is definitely in play, guys. 1.8 million shares traded. We're getting a nice drop here now. So yeah, let's add this over here. Is Lee dropping too, or is this just a Neo thing? Oh, Lee as well. All right, so we got Lee dropping, also going in red. Tesla, is it affecting all EVs? Tesla, not as much. So we'll see. How about Bob? Is it a Chinese thing? Not really. Bob doesn't have the volume. So Neo and Lee both dropping very good here this morning.
I would say Bob had a drop on that 1 minute, on that 5 minute candle. It's not quite the.
Yeah, not quite with the volume.
I mean,
though, right?
It's
much lighter than we have like on Lee and Neo. They're very aggressive on their drop.
But I mean,
decent volume. So
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but let's see what happens.
Apparently.
XPEF too. So it's some Chinese EV stuff.
China news, throw it out there. I don't see it right now.
Yeah, and I don't see Tesla dropping, so it's not like an overall EV type thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a little drop, but nothing like XPEF and Neo and Lee at the moment. So we'll give it a little bit, guys. You see something, say something. We'll add those to the list for now. All right, let's take here. So Neo is good. Oxy we have on deck. The Qs, of course, Jeff will be watching those. TCOM, Danco, we do have TCOM. I put them as a possible because they're not the best trading stock. I mean, they're up 13% today. I think today they'll be in play for sure. I'm just concerned with how clean their trading is going to be, even with this gap up. So I hope to find something better.
Yeah.
If not, we can add it to the list, right?
To announcements real quick. We're a little behind.
Oh yeah.
I'm slow. I've been gone.
No, it's so good, man.
I'm doing the pre-market show on Island time today, I think.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead up, guys. Let's go look at the website. So I'm going to pull that up. Give me 1 second as we go there. We'll look at webinars and then we'll come back and look at anything else going on here.
All right. Monday, don't forget all about onboarding every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern with Carlos. Goes over onboarding and technology. Tuesday, we've got strategy next week. Peter talking about trading a single ticker. While Peter doesn't exactly trade just a single ticker, he does have AMD on his watch list every day, including weekends and holidays. And so he has a feel for doing that in itself. And he'll talk about how you get to learn how to ticker moves and such. Then the following week is Carlos talking about pre-market analysis and risk management. All right. So there's a secondary on Lee. Is that the news that's going on? I don't know why that would be affecting. I don't know why that would be affecting Neo and the others in that way. I'm not saying that's not it. It very well could be. We'll look at it after announcement. Psychology. Tomorrow night, Randy Howell, 8 p.m. Eastern, talking about keeping emotional control when the money is real. And then the following week, Dr. Kenneth Reed talking about 10 things you need to know about bear markets. Great webinar there. Thursday is mentoring. As I've already mentioned, we've already mentioned Ed. John is at 11. Ed at 4, he'll be looking at MU, I bet. I can't remember if is MU one of those tickers that he's not a huge fan of.
I don't recall, but I won't be surprised because MU is not the
There's
same
one of
anymore,
those. There's one of those that we used to trade all the time that Ed's not a fan of, and he probably because he used to trade it all the time and
probably is MU. Yeah,
it unfriended him. Then Thor at 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. All right. Don't forget about stocktradingsimulator.com, our free web-based trading simulator. And when you sign up for that, you'll get a couple emails a week pointing you in the right direction, kind of homework assignments from Eamon. But I can no longer refer to him as Eamon. He is not in the room. I was hoping he would show up. I know he's off coming up, I believe, starting tomorrow. I think he's here today.
This week he's out. I think,
he's out. He's completely out because I thought it started the 29th, but I could be wrong. Anyway, guys, this is funny. May 23rd of 2018 is when Eamon and I both on the same day became members of BBT. And he was just starting into something, and that was medical school. And Eamon officially, I believe yesterday, took his final exams, and now we have to refer to him as Dr. Eamon. So, congratulations to my friend Eamon. Hope you have a doctor. I hope you have I hope you have a great day, great week. I know you're taking a little time off, but anyway, shout out, brother. All right. Don't forget about, if you are the pre-market 24 discount for the intro membership. That's 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room, unless there's a holiday, which there is on Monday. So keep that in mind. Do you know, Carlos, when you're doing onboarding next week with the 4th of July? Tuesday?
Yeah, we will probably do Tuesday. Yeah, actually, I have a webinar Tuesday. We have to figure this out. Yeah, but most likely
we'll figure it
Tuesday.
out.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys know. We'll get it made up next week. And for that one, Carlos will be sticking fireworks in his nose or ears and and shooting out Roman candles. Not recommended. Don't do that at home. But Eamon's here to fix him if he needs it. Just a very short plane ride and a very long visa process away to being able to do that. And then don't forget about Read 50, the current promotion. Get half off the intro or half off the Elite Annual, and a free coaching session, one-on-one coaching session with Dr. Kenneth Reed. You sign up using that. All right, guys. So this afternoon in the Closing Bell show, very special guest that Andrew and Artie are going to have on, Michael Gadd. He is a portfolio manager, and he's also got 600,000 followers on Twitter. He's going to be with them for about an hour this afternoon. I believe it's already set up, so you can go, if you're not liked and if you're not subscribed to the channel already, hit subscribe and get notifications. You'll notify when that gets when that goes live. But be sure to check that out. It'll be this afternoon, and hopefully it's already done, so you can hit a reminder go in YouTube and hit a reminder on that show, and you can check it out. It will be a very good show. All right.
All right, thank you.
That's all I got, man.
Norm, no, thank you, man. Welcome back. But yeah, guys, that he's an amazing person. He knows a lot about his business. So I joined a lot of his Twitter spaces, and man, if you have the knowledge this gentleman has, it's going to be a whole lot of fun at the Closing Bell today. So don't miss it. He is really, really good. All right, excellent. Let's get to it, guys. Our watch list today, not a blockbuster list, and this is kind of what we've been seeing over the last couple of days. We have Oxy, we have Nike with earnings. We'll see how that goes. Lee and Neo and XBEV all dropping here, with Lee being a split. Was it a split here? What's the news again on Lee? Again, we'll have to figure out why they're dropping. Secondary. Okay,
that's what somebody mentioned.
So we'll have to see why that's causing such a drop on the others, because it shouldn't affect them. But we'll have to see, unless something they know we don't know. But yeah, guys. So again, all of these 1, 2, and 3 in heavy play right now towards the bottom. Some of them going for even from red to green, like we see on Lee here. So that is good. And then we have secondary. We have Hood, DVN, and TCOM there. Again, not ideal. They're definitely in play today, but not my favorite stocks to trade. So this is why I have them on this list here. So we'll do levels for the top 5 we have here, and Oxy's looking real nice this morning, by the way. This is a great pre-market action for Oxy.
So today. I have a feeling, Nicholas on YouTube, thank you. I have a feeling this is the news that hit XPEV, Neo, and Lee. Volkswagen unveils first electric midsize sedan to take on Tesla in China and Europe next year. That would make sense to hit all 3 of those.
Yeah. That
unless that's old news, and like I said, I haven't been around, so
I haven't heard that yet. So yeah, so that would make sense why it would affect all 3 of them. Because if not, it would just affect one. The others actually will be happy. They wouldn't be
Yeah.
dropping.
No, yeah.
So like, oh,
I
so
sure wouldn't expect the same drop out of the three. So
right.
anyway, there you
That
go.
will make sense. So we'll take a look at that, guys. It's definitely a big catalyst there. That's not good for these guys at all. You don't want competition coming in your space, especially competition that might have been successful elsewhere. It's not a good deal. This kind of like we saw with Apple joining what's it, pay later, which Affirm does that. You saw Affirm when Apple announced that about a couple of a month ago, I think it was in their event. You saw Affirm drop drastically because they don't want nobody in their space, especially somebody as successful as Apple can be. So we'll see here, guys. Oxy, let's go there right now. At the moment, high of the pre-market is 61.55. Above that, we do have a great level at 64.11. Great area of resistance and support across the board there. So that is nice. You got two really main levels on the daily. And even this pre-market high, you can see the support that you're getting here in the 61.55 and other areas here. An area of support as well. A little bit of resistance here and some more support happening there. So this price there does like to be play with quite a bit on Oxy. Right now we're heading back to the pre-market highs and was looking like right now an amazing pre-market activities. Looks very, very good. So towards the bottom, guys, highs and lows, previous day close, we're looking pretty nice there. Don't need to add anything else. So that's settled there. And then here we do have, if in case we break out of 64 again, we'll need a very big move to do that. We do have a level at 66.04. All right, let's take a look at Nike. So Nike had earnings last night. They're slightly active today. They are not the best trading ticker by any means, but let's see what happens today. I do like their daily here on this gap down of 2.5. Their volume 523,000. So that's decent. Love the pre-market 106.65. And then below that, we have a good area here at the daily over at 104.38. So again, some pretty decent levels as far as the downside. Towards the top, we do have a level of 108.50, which is your pre-market high. And you can see also that is being confirmed by a couple of days here. That was used at heavy resistance in May here. So again, just a ton of resistance happening there. Let's see if we can break out of that. So we try to push higher towards that pre-market high at the moment. And then above that, you got plenty of stuff here, guys. Previous day close, highs and lows are taking care of you there. We're just talking about Lee, Neo, and XPEF not getting the news they want to hear this morning or whenever this news has broken out, broke out here. But 37.27 is the low of the pre-market over on Lee. And then below that, this stock, by the way, we've been looking at Lee for a while, and this thing has just been ripping. I mean, in May, we were hanging out at 18. We hit as high as 40, and now we're back down to 37 a little bit here. So again, this stock has been very, very strong. A lot of that happening after, regulators pushing back a little bit and kind of, well, not pushing back, but kind of falling back and leaving these guys alone. We saw a big pop there on a lot of these Chinese tickers, especially Neo EV. EV companies like XPEF, Lee, and also Baba. Baba has been really good this month. So 35.46 towards the bottom. Towards the top, guys, you got all kinds of stuff happening here. Previous day close, highs and lows. You're set there. Don't make it complicated. I don't think you need to add anything more here. And let's see how this news is going to play out. Great volume on Lee right now. Going into the red. Neo also dropping here. Did go into the red nicely at the moment. Trying to hold right now. 22.78 is the low of the pre-market. They got a great area of support here. That was prior resistance, right? We had a nice big gap up 2 weeks ago, and now we're trying to hold this previous day close in there. But this news obviously is not helping them. So high of the pre-market at the moment, we're going to be slamming down on 23.68. And then towards the bottom, we do have our 22.78. Below that, if we were to lose more ground, it's going to be 22.23, and then all the way down here when we had this gap up at 21.60. So plenty of levels here on Neo. We are looking good there. Volume is starting to ramp in here, pretty aggressive. 2.2 million shares traded, and a little bit of a downtrend at the moment. Let's see if they can hold this previous day close or not. XPEF and Neo are not having. I'm sorry, XPEF and Lee are not having the best luck. These guys are dropping very aggressive here. So XPEF hitting the lows of the last 2 trading days, as you can see here. So we got a good support area that's trying to hold at the moment. If it cannot hold that, 33.04 could be an area where we can find some more support. Towards the downside, we have 31.58. Towards the top, we got plenty, guys. Highs and lows of the last 2 trading days doing a pretty good job. And your previous day close, which we're slowly leaving here as we're down 1.4. So again, another company that has had a great run over the last couple of weeks. You know, in May they kind of hit their bottom here, got some good news, some positive stuff on their side, and you can see how that has been reacting. Another one that's been moving like this too is Baba. I don't see a whole lot of stuff happening there this morning, but you know what? It's a good possible to have because it has been trading well. Not the last 2 days, but we've seen some really good trading out of Baba. So we'll put that on the list as a possible for now. All right, we are set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could use one more. Anything else you guys are watching on your end that maybe we have not looked at? Disney. King, man, we missed you in the meetup on Saturday. As we were ending or walking out, King was just arriving. He just showed up right there when the meetup was over. He was stuck at work and couldn't get out early enough. But man, it was good to see you for that 2 seconds there. And hopefully for the next meetup you can join us because we'll love to have you. So, all right, here we are, Disney. I don't see a whole lot going on there. We got a nice big gap up of 2.2 at the moment, 154,000. Not great volume just yet. I'm not sure if there's any news on Disney or it's just overall market stuff. What's happening with Disney? Let's go here to our trading terminal and see if we have anything going on with our buddy Disney. I do not see, no, I don't see any news here, guys. So yeah, nothing on Disney at the moment. If you see something, let me know. But for the most part, we have a gap up at the moment. We'll see where that goes. Okay, we are all set, guys. Anything else that we might have missed here? What KZR? We have KZR. Yeah, yes, KZR. Sorry, let me move it up here. We do have it. I put it on my risky pile, and again, it's not looking great right now though. This pre-market activity could be better at 8.6 million shares traded. We'll see how the market open, how this goes. I mean, they got some positive catalysts here. I just hope that this gets a little bit better. It looks a little bit sporadic, this pre-market activity right now, the way these candles are forming, the way these wicks are forming. So we'll really have to weigh on this one. And it's not a low flow, it's I think it's 40 million that we mentioned earlier, but you want to be careful because the way this thing is moving, it could be very aggressive. Of 91%, guys, 8.6 million shares definitely in play. I'm just not sure how great this actually is going to be. Disney reopening Shanghai theme park. Oh, okay, yeah, that could be that's good news. That is actually great news for them. You know, Disney could be interesting today. That is very positive catalyst there. So we'll add Disney to the list. I'm gonna put a high of the pre-market 99.32, and then up here another level over at 101.70 towards the bottom. A lot of support. You can mark down the low of the pre-market at 97.43, and I think you're pretty much set there. So, all right, guys, we're looking good. We are sitting at 194 likes, and yesterday we did hit our goal. I think we missed it by like 3, but if we could hit our goal today of 400 likes, that would be highly appreciated. Very, very much. Again, if you like what you're watching, right? If you want to support the channel, that is the way that you can do that and be part of supporting our channel and community there. So thank you so much. Disney's looking good. So we have Disney, Oxy, Nike, Lee, Neo, and XPET very heavy on the Chinese EV this morning, as that is what looks to be the stuff in play that might be very, very active this morning. Let's take a look at it. What's Amazon up to. Amazon has actually been really good with the volume, has been trading well. I didn't watch it yesterday. How did it do yesterday? Oh, see, out of all the stocks that I didn't have this on my list, this actually looked really decent here, guys. Look at this drop here on Amazon. So let's add Amazon to the list. I have Disney, and I'm going to add Amazon as well. I think Amazon could be a good one also. So we'll keep it on. Let's do some quick levels on here, which we don't need much because we're surrounded by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. I'm going to add 114.21. And then outside of that, I think you're pretty much set when it comes to Amazon. Hopefully we can have a start like we did yesterday on there. Lots of chemical companies hitting the scanners. Yeah, I don't have my scanners up, guys. I'm having problems with the password. I was trying it with an M, with a lowercase m, uppercase M. Maybe I shouldn't tell you the letter of my password, at least what it starts with. But either got like that or something's not working. We'll figure it out. All right, guys. Anything else? As we wait for our moderators to throw their list out, I see Brian has his list ready to go nice and early. So let's go there. Let's go look at what the moderators are looking at this morning. Sitting at 276 likes. We're getting there, my friends. Thank you very much. 400 is to go today. And we should be there. Hopefully, you guys can help us get there. Let's look at our moderators lineup as I resize this. Let's see here. And here we go. Bring this right over here so you guys can see that. And today we'll start with Mike. So Mike, his list, he's looking at Nike, Baba. Thor will be looking at Lee, Nike, Disney, West Fargo. Secondary, as usual, the Pivotbot alerts from our chat room here. Or you can sign up on Twitter as well and also get that alert. Dima's looking at Hood, Oxy, Nike, and Apple. Brian will be looking at Lee, Disney, Oxy, XLE, and also TCOM. And Susan will be looking at the SPY overall market there, Oxy and Baba, which again, Oxy is looking really, really good this morning. Very, very active, tons of volume today. And pre-market is looking very good, trading very well. And there's some others on there as well. You got DVN, you got some other tickers that are also in play. Energy moves there that you can watch. XOM is another one that also it's up 2.4. And actually, it's starting to get a little bit better here. But Oxy is definitely the one that can trade very clean as well. Jack, random question, but what's your mother's maiden name? That's a good one. Yeah, that'd be great, right? And Megan is looking at XPEF this morning. That's the only thing on her list, and we'll see how that plays out. Again, all three of those with a big catalyst this morning. Looking really, really nice today. Cool. I think we are all set, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us over on YouTube. Reminder, the closing bell. We have a special guest today. Do not want to miss at 3:30. If you haven't done so already, you can check the YouTube link and you can set a reminder so you're reminded 30 minutes before we go live at 3:30 Eastern time. It's going to be a good one, guys. I mean, he is amazing. As I said, I joined a lot of his Twitter spaces. He goes on quite a bit, even on weekends at times. And the knowledge, the amount of information and knowledge this gentleman has is unbelievable. You do not want to miss it. So 3:30, we'll see you guys there. And we are all set. Norm, welcome back. And we will see you guys tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern time. 319, not bad. It's still shy of our 400, but we'll take it. Thank you guys over on YouTube, and we will see you tomorrow. Take care.